And then you've got stories like this. TV booze ads could be banned in the latest move towards a nanny state. The Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, is drawing up a 10-year public health plan which could also include cutting shop licensing hours. Campaigners back the ad ban but warn it won't tackle soaring alcohol deaths alone, which already cost the NHS £3.5 billion a year. Let's speak with Andrew Allison, Head of Campaigns at Popular Conservatism. Andrew, good afternoon to you. I also noticed one of the initiatives was maybe to grab that idea from Scotland of minimum pricing. I don't know what the stats are in terms of how well that's panned out in Scotland, but there's a lot of sort of state overreach going on here, it seems to me.
I think, Ian, and good afternoon, that this is politicians trying to do some virtue signalling. I'm sure that buried down in all the statistics that they have prepared will be that this particular measure will save, I don't know, 937 lives over the course of a year. It'll save the NHS so many pounds per year. And they'll use that just to justify it. But when you look at all the problems that we've got going on in the country at the moment, look at the rape gangs scandal that the government's desperately trying to deflect attention from. The economy isn't growing. We're taxed to the hilt. Labour can't even get through modest welfare cuts without the backbenchers going into open revolt. Yeah. It appears that the government's thinking, well, this is something that we can do, and it's probably going to be very easy, and we can sell it as an easy win. And I think that's probably the reason why they're doing it.
Yeah, and look, it seems to be as well, Andrew. Wes Streeting talked a lot, and Wes Streeting can be a fairly impressive player by sort of Labour government standards. I know the bar's not particularly high on that one, but you take the point. But he seems to have talked a lot about sort of other ways of saving money in the NHS, responsibility, lifestyle, that kind of stuff. The problem with that is that you get things like this, where there's no real demonstrable proof it's ever going to do anything. And in fact, I think I'm right in saying the sugar tax did absolutely nothing, because we've still got loads of growing number of obese people. Nothing other than raise more money for the government.
Correct. And every time I use the NHS and I mention what I do for a living, so many times staff say to me, oh, if you want to know about waste, I'll tell you about waste.
Yes.
They tell me about all sorts of things that are going on in the NHS. I mean, the NHS is just a hugely inefficient bureaucracy.
Completely.
And we all know that. I think this sort of hero worship, turning the NHS into a religion, I think that is finally on the wane. And I think finally we may, at some point, maybe not now, but in the next few years, be able to have a sensible discussion about how we fund healthcare in this country, just as we fund welfare in this country, which needs a serious discussion.
These are all areas that politicians are quite scared of, though, aren't they? I mean, I know Liz Kendall is trying to do her thing. Ian Duncan-Smith tried to do something similar. George Osborne tried to implement it. He was written off as the Antichrist. Liz Kendall is kind of suffering the same image issue right now, as is Rachel Reeves, etc. So, and then politicians backtrack, don't they? They go, OK, we're a bit scared, so we'll water it all down.
Well, yeah, precisely. I mean, I heard Paul Johnson from the IFS interview by Julia earlier today, and he said that if you take out pensions from the welfare budget, you're still talking around about £100 billion going in welfare payments. And as I said, these are modest cuts. They're around about £5 billion. And yet the government can't even get that through with a huge, massive majority. So, yes, even these very modest cuts will be watered down.
Indeed. Andrew, thank you for your time, sir. Appreciate that. Andrew Allison is Head of Campaigns at Popular Conservatism.